Hello everybody, November 5th, 2013 today. I have an important video today about India, and I want to get into why the prices are rising so high in that country. And I'm hoping that some people in India are going to come across this video or are going to be able to have some understanding on what's happening, because if you look on TV or if you read the newspapers, I'm sure all you're going to see really is that it's a supply and demand issue. The food minister is coming out saying that his hoarders are trying to fix the prices, and by keeping product off the market, they're causing a supply issue and having the prices go up. There's also been some information come out that the transportation ministry is saying that the logistics is screwed up and that they can't get the product to market, the vegetables and stuff. That's just all nonsense. I mean, some of it may have some truth in it, but it's not the main reason of why they're having such a horrific time over there. The economy is growing at the slowest pace in 10 years. And I know that many Indians already know how to preserve their wealth, which is a good thing, but there's quite a few people in the country, and it's more important now than ever. This should have already happened in the past 3-4 years. They should have already been protecting themselves, which I know they have been, by buying gold jewelry. I know that buying jewelry and gold is really big in India. But now the government's put the iron boot in the face of gold imports, and they've made a situation to where Indians are now switching over to silver because they want something real. They know the rupee's being devalued, a lot of them. And, there was a crisis in 1991, and it appears that we might be headed back in that direction again. The devaluation is off the charts. I mean, it's just, wait till I show you the reason why this is all happening. I'm going to direct you to one chart. One chart explains everything. It's not all this greedy merchants and hoarders and all this crap. No, it's not that. It's one chart. In September, the central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, got a new chief, a new governor, Raghuram Rajan, who's come out and raised interest rates a little bit, saying that he's fighting inflation, which when the rupee is being extremely devalued, you need to raise interest rates to help support it. So he's come out and he's being called an inflation fighter. He's an inflation fighter for the Federal Reserve that is the principal cause of all the problems, the ones that inflated the currency. They've inflated it. Wait till you hear this. But just a second, before I get to there, I want to talk about onions. Onions have gone up 4 times in the past 3 months. They've gone up to about $1.62 a kilogram, or 100 rupees. I mean, that may not sound much to you here if you're in the United States, but a lot of people over in India, 1/3 of the population, are living off like $1.25, $1.30 a day. So they can't even afford a kilogram of onion, which is one of the main staples in the cuisine, in the food that they eat. So, a horrific situation. I feel really sorry for all those people, what they're going through, and I feel sorry for them to being lied to. That the central bank is extremely anti-inflation. They inflated the hell out of the monetary base and the money supply, and now they're reaping I almost said reward. They're reaping what they sowed, basically. I mean, they planted the seeds of inflation, and here's what you get. I mean, you just look at the fruit that comes from their seeds that they planted, and that's what it is. It's extreme debasement of the currency and total mayhem over in India. So, now I mentioned to a few people that I was going to make a video on India, and I got some kind of strange reactions like, why do you care about India? I mean, why should I care here in America about what's going on over there in India? This is our future, everyone. I mean, we're losing our reserve status. Our US dollar as the reserve currency of the world is being lost. I've been documenting it. The countries around the world are moving away from the US dollar. Once we lose the reserve currency status, the price rises in this country are going to be so much worse than what's happening in India, in Venezuela, in Argentina, these countries that are having 25% inflation. Just wait until you see what happens here when all the dollars come home to roost that have been put out around the world. We are able to export our inflation from the United States because we have the reserve currency. India can't export its inflation. They've taken their money supply and it is 6 times larger than what it was 10 years ago. And so all that, they just can't be sending that out because other countries aren't going to want them. They're going to stay there in India. They're going to go out and be exchanged, and then they come back. So anyhow, I wanted to make sure to mention that if you're in India, unless you have been protecting yourself with real money, gold and silver, to protect your purchasing power, you've lost 50% of your purchasing power in the last 3 years. That is a horrific state of affairs over there. I feel so bad for those people. And Raghuram Rajan, the new chief over there at the Reserve Bank of India, says that there's no danger of a crisis. And let's just hope that he's not like Baghdad Bob, who was, when the U.S. was moving into Iraq, Baghdad Bob is on TV saying that the Americans are dropping dead at the walls, and they haven't even come near Baghdad, and here a U.S. tank is going behind them on the TV screen. I mean, let's hope that we don't have this situation where Rajan is like Baghdad Bob, but I don't know. Things are in a real sad state of affairs over there. So let's jump over to a little bit of the financials. We have India is 57 trillion rupees in debt, which is about 916 billion US dollars. So there's a lot of debt, not compared to the United States, but it's still a lot of debt. The money supply is 89 trillion rupees. Now, to put this in perspective, it was 3 trillion rupees in 1992. It was 14 trillion rupees in 2002. And it's gone from 70 trillion rupees up to 90 trillion in the last 2 years. Just last 2 years, a 28% rise in the money supply. That is more than the total money supply in 2004. All the money in the whole supply of money in India in 2004, 2 years ago until now, they just took that whole amount and just plopped it right on the top. I mean, it's just incredible what's going on, and this has been played out throughout history. It's being played out in Argentina, it's being played out in Venezuela. This is what happens. Money printing, this wealth is stolen from the people, and they're given other reasons why it's happening. You got to protect yourself with gold and silver. That's one of the best ways to do it, or other hard assets. And people here in the United States are just plunking away at their 401ks. The stock market's at all-time highs. We're printing $85 billion a month in the United States. Those people, they know what time Family Guy comes on, but they don't even know how much money is being printed by the Federal Reserve, a private corporation that prints our money. You go to a Federal Reserve Bank and you try to walk in the door, and you'll be asked to step back on public property, please. Because that's a private bank, they're printing our money, and we're going towards this. I know I've been ringing this bell for 4 years. A lot of other people have been ringing the bell for 10 years. But it's where we're heading. This is not going to continue on the way it's been going. And everything's going to hit the fan. I'm hoping that we don't have a Mad Max type situation, but you got to prepare for that too. You got to have food supply, you got to have guns and ammo, way to protect it. You got to have all that stuff, but who knows exactly how this is going to turn out, but at the very least, we're going to have a currency crisis in this country. The dollar is going to lose its reserve status, the dollar is going to crash, and we're probably going to have one world currency at some point backed by gold and silver. And if you protected your purchasing power, you're not going to be as bad off as the people who just plunked away at their 401k and listened to their financial advisor and didn't really understand what was going on. You think a financial advisor wants to have you buy a gold coin and put that in a safe? Of course not. The financial advisor wants you plunking away in mutual funds and 401k so they can reap the fees off of it. They don't want you buying real money. And the central banks and the bullion banks, major ones, they don't want you switching away from the dollar into real money. So anyhow, I guess that's it for now. I'll show the graph real quick, and then I'll also have a link below in the more info section. You can click on it. It'll take you to the two graphs that I'm going to show you real quick. Let me go ahead and show those real quick before I finish off this video. This graph here is showing the past 2 years, 70 trillion rupees, right on up to 90 trillion rupees. And I'll have this graph posted at Moneybags World so you can see it if you want over there. And then this is the real one that explains exactly what's going on. It's probably hard for you to see, but just look at this line. This is all you really need to look at. Indian money supply, a broad measure. This is M3, I believe, which we haven't had published here in the U.S. since 2006. I guess it cost the Federal Reserve too much money to come up with that report, so they don't give us the broadest measure of the money supply anymore, obviously, because they don't want us to see it. But John Williams, shadowstats.com, still compute set if you want to see that figure. Anyhow, 1952, 1992, 2012, and this stops around 74 trillion, so it's actually up here. It's up here now. That right there shows you exactly what's happening in India, what's exactly going to happen in all the other countries around the world. It's happening in Venezuela, it's happening in Argentina, and it's going to happen here in the United States. So I recommend you get yourself some gold and silver. That's it for now, everyone. Take care.